like either wear a fro or, you know, different things like that. And then it just seemed to stress it. And so I started putting it up in braids or crochet styles or sew-ins or something where all my hair was put up and I was stressing the weave more so than my hair. And if I had a crochet style, then of course I didn't have to do anything at all. All I had to do was just...
Well, that's another thing that I also speak heavily about in here, is the industry has driven us away from wanting to care for our hair. And that decision, and then I would have to go back in and kind of like start all over, you know what I'm saying, flat iron my whole head. So
I like your hair right now, though. Looks amazing.
Yours is about to look the exact same way.
It looks freaking amazing. Like, it's shiny and healthy, and like, it looks freaking amazing.
And yours is gonna look freaking amazing.
And you don't have any oil on it.
I don't put nothing in my hair. Now in here, because girls, I don't have any dead ends on my hair. So when girls come in, they usually have a gang of dead ends. So I do still use a polish, which is a weave product. It's not a hair care, you know, it's not an oil. It has no oil in it. So it's down. Still going to minimize the frizzies. Maybe I should raise this one. Sarah, is that you? That's on already? If so, no, guess not. I'm just doing checks right now, you guys, before 1 p.m. trying to adjust my camera. So hang in there with me. We will start right at 1 p.m.
And then I started using heat to just try and get it in a ponytail even or something so I could put it up. But normally I don't have it out. It's just easier for me that way.
And I understand the why. I understand why you're saying that it's easier for your hair to be.
Many people when I first like stopped getting relaxers and things of that nature, like the looks and the, you know, things of that nature that I would get.
I know, and that's the bigger problem too. These companies have done a really good job at, I don't want to call them liars. It's called marketing. Now that I've gotten into bottling and marketing, it's called marketing. That's a professional description for lying. So you market your product by using descriptives that pull people to your product.
Absolutely.
Moisture. So you call it healthy and nourishing and lavishing
and know this and know that.
Absolutely. No alcohol, no sulfur, and then they'll use like another language and call it sulfites, which is the same thing as sulfur, and say that it's chemical free, or say that there's so it's like, whose fault is that? It's not the manufacturer's fault, because they've clearly stated the truth on the back of their bottle. They've listed all the warnings. They've told us who it's for, what it's for. It's not their fault that we've ignored all that or failed to further research our purchase and fall victim to what the front of the bottle says. So, and this is where I'm going to admit today on live camera, I thought I knew it all. I've had to become mature. I've gone through, like I just admitted, I've had counselings, I've cried, I've quit. But what I had to admit is I don't know what I'm doing. I do not know what I'm doing. I'm doing certain stuff. Yeah, man, I'm using this conditioner. But yet when I get done conditioning, I'm putting them under the dryer. I'm spending all this time and extra money, because conditioner is the most expensive bottle on the shelf. And to get them back to the chair, and the hairs are still matted, still looks crunchy, and it's still dry, and I still gotta fight and put all this stuff on it. My passion. See, if you don't care, you're in a person, you're gonna be behind somebody like, I don't care. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care that didn't work. I don't care if she likes it or not. And you're gonna just keep it moving. Not even ask your client, was that okay for you? Did you like
what you wanted?
Just give me my money, bye, and please set your next appointment. This is where with me, I got passion. I do care. So my job is hard in here, because I'm always having to tell someone, no, that's not true. No, that's not the case, you know? And instead of, I don't know what to call them, blocked mindseted women, instead of drawing to new information, women get offensive. I've been called uneducated. I've been called, I've been accused of offending somebody because I'm speaking the truth about the fact that you're not natural. You have a man-made process on your head. You wasn't born with them in your head, you know.
True.
I've had to get counseling to understand it's not my job to worry about everybody else's feelings. It's my job to be honest in here. It's my job to be a professional.
And this is what I do.
Man, and I'm not going to mislead you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to act like I don't know. And I don't need you to tell me something's wrong either. I can look at my clients before they leave, and I've done it many times. Even though I got to keep it moving, come back, come here, because something happened, or it's not looking right. Let me redo that, you know what I'm saying, or let me fix it. So this is where I realize, and I've talked to many stylists who have actually looked me in my eye and said, Tanya, I don't got time to care like that. I've had other stylists that's received my clients when I left town who have said, Tanya, you got your clients spoiled. Spoiled? I'm a human service provider. I care. You know what I'm saying? So it don't take you to tell me you're bothered or that you're angry because you may be waiting. I see the look on your face. I don't feel any emotion, but I care. So I'm going to say, ooh, I'm running behind. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be a little bit more, or at this time, I'm going to acknowledge the problem and then try to do my best to fix it. So, like I said, I'm about to break.
So you to have a seat, do something, get you washed, get you under the dryer to save them some time so they can go ahead and move on to the next person, and they're not going to say anything at all.
Hi, Miss Janae. We're going to go live right at 1, so we're just doing some chopping it up. And we're going to start shortly. I was just getting everything.
So what are people chiming
in? They will be.
Are you already live?
Yeah, I am now, but you know, I'm told everybody like don't really start coming in until 1. So I am what I call the true advocate for what I was calling a natural woman. And I've just had to learn. I've learned a lot more than what any educator or any school has taught me. Because, see, I took the time to go be a teacher, too. That's how much passion I got in this industry. I know tons of girls that do hair ain't never been an educator. And I know a gang of educators that ain't never stood behind the chair. Without obtaining those 2 lanes, you don't understand the full spectrum of this industry. And once I became an educator, that was when I was like, well, no wonder.
But you know, that explains a lot, because there are times where you could go sit in the chair and go get your hair done and be just totally like you're professional, like this person really knew what they were doing, like they're licensed and my hair looks like this, or you know, just feeling there's only one stylist I know that I can think of off the top of my head that literally
don't say any names, so while we're on video, okay.
I won't, but takes really good care of your hair.
She cares.
And like she would not, like I'd say, oh, I want it colored, and she'd be like, no, your hair is not in a place to color it. Whereas somebody else would be like, okay, girl, let me color it. You know what I mean? Whereas she like took the time to really get my hair in a healthy place and just kind of like trim.
And this is what I've noticed too along my journey is that when you're in business, you go into business expecting everybody to access you, especially all your friends and your family. But with this, it's been the total opposite. You know what I'm saying? So I now understand this isn't for everybody. This is only for individuals that are choosy, like myself, that would prefer to not access the chemicals, period. This is why I don't talk about healthy hair. I don't call it healthy because that's that misleading descriptive. I don't use natural. That's that misleading descriptive. It's holistic, because what holistic in here means, it's the least amount. We're aware of what we are accessing. We're mindful of the usage, and we're also mindful of its intended purpose. So we have a more whole understanding of what we're doing to our hair. That's why I tell people all the time, I go way beyond just the style. I'm not impressed with a stylist or these, you know, and even when I became a teacher, I didn't know they had dissect my industry, where you can get up out of school quicker and by just being a hairstylist. Wait a minute. That means that you ain't took skin. You're not an esthetician. So how can you properly handle a head and you have no skin knowledge? But you telling somebody that you need to put this on their scalp and you need to add this and put this on your head, who told you that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't spread rumors in here. I only speak what I know is fact, or what I have seen, what I've seen through trial and error. So we about to get started because we about to go live. I call it live at 5.
Okay.
So I'm just getting the confidence, like I said, to roll this stuff out and share this knowledge. I'm not being niggerish and keeping it to myself. I share my resource, which is Uncle Charlie. I've taken multiple people up to that mountaintop trying to change people's minds. So can't do it verbally. I'm a looker. You got to show me.
Yeah.
So if it was me, I would want to be watching this video today, like, because I've been called a liar. There's a gang of stylists that are saying stuff like, Tanya got y'all out there buying water. Yeah, I do, because it's safe, it's effective, and it lasts. Why would we access a relaxer if we can safely soften our hair? It's a no-brainer, really. And this ain't nothing new. I've just taken us back. I'm taking us back to the basics and putting us in front of the conditioners and all the beauty supply products. That's all I'm doing. And just making us
you'll be amazed at how much you spend on that stuff.
Oh, don't tell me. Like I said, conditioner is the most expensive bottle in the hair care line. It's more than your leave-in. It's more than your, your enhancer. It costs more than the shampoo. And it's the harshest, most chemical added formulated option that we're putting on our hair. And I'm gonna say this too on the video. Here in Colorado, we're different. We can act like we live in humidity because it's gonna mess up our hair. Okay, so I wish I had a clock on this. All right, you guys, well, it's 1 p.m. because this is gonna be a full documentation of this. So this is exclusive information, and I'm gonna introduce an exclusive product that, and actually I'm gonna stop calling it a product. It's an exclusive water that I have found to soften hair. I have been what I used to call myself a natural woman for, at least, I think my last time I got a relaxer, it had to be like 22, 23 years ago. And since then, I've been trying hard to obtain what I call healthy hair. Well, I had to admit, and I'm going to admit now, that I didn't know what I was accessing. I knew, see, our industry has two sides. There's a knowledge side and there's a practical side. Because when you go to school, you have to complete so many hours in practical hours, which is the hands-on and the actual practice. And then you got to complete so many hours of theory, which is the knowledge, the book work, the explanations and the elaborations. Well, I admit I didn't retain a lot of my theory when I was in school. So it led to me, honestly, copying other people. I got out into the industry, licensed, mind you, and started copying people. Oh, well, I'm gonna use this because she's using it, and I saw what it did to her hair, but I failed to ask the stylist, what is that? What's in it? Why are you using it? What did it do good for her hair? And just would start using stuff. So along the way, my passion, I tell people this all the time, my passion is greater than business because I breathe hair. So, and at the end of the day, I care. And this is the crucial, I think, difference between myself and a lot of other professionals, is that I do care wholeheartedly. So that means I have to be honest. I have to tell the truth. I have to correct. I have to maybe give something away for free. That's what caring is all about. When you don't care, you ain't giving nothing away for free because you don't care about somebody's attitude. You're not going to fix anything because you don't care. You're not going to hurry because you don't care. So I care in here. So let's get started. I asked for a 4C, but this is not 4C texture.
It is.
It's not. She's got length. And I'm going to turn her around so the camera can see. So what we're looking at, my eyes can now identify as what's called product buildup. This is from the tap water exposure, and this is from conditioning and the tap water, not rinsing it out all the way, and allowing remnants to remain on the hair. And I ask anybody, if you have questions, to please ask them as you're watching, as they pop up. Go ahead and ask the questions because I'm going to address all of them. I'm going to address all of them once I'm done with the video. So ask them at your leisure as you see fit. So again, This is from tap water exposure and from product exposure. Because the tap water, everybody unfortunately is changing, and it is getting stronger by the day. Because it's the primary tool in this industry, it seems that nobody's really teaching about it, so no one's paying attention to it. But the tap water alone has a lot of chemicals in it that can harden our hair, especially here in Colorado in a dry climate. So that knowledge there is crucial in this industry, because if you don't understand how hard your water is, how can you really determine which shampoo you're going to use to treat the hair or to post-treat the tap water? So long story short, everyone, I have found a water. Clearly this is not tap water. I can help you save some time. It's not store-bought bottled water either. I've had a few clients that have tried to access the store-bought waters thinking that that's what this is, and found that don't give the same result because those waters are not as clean as mine. So this is it here, you guys. It's called MYWater Leave-In Hair Solution. I named it that because I feel it's the total solution for our hair. I'm not here to tell anyone to not use what they're using. I've had to go through some counseling, and I've gotten very mature and have learned how to receive information and not block it just because it's new or I've never heard of it before. So in doing so, I now can identify 6 different waters through preliminary tests. I can tell you what it is, what type of water it is. I can tell you the source, and I can also tell you and help you understand its intended purpose and why that type of water was even generated or designed. So I say that this is not a natural product, because I would say that the word natural, again, I'm an educator, so it's hard for me to misspeak in here. And the description for natural means that it's non-man-made. That means it wasn't processed or changed or mixed together. A lot of products and processes are called natural, and that's just not true, everyone. Natural means nothing on your hair. So I don't call my product a natural hair care product, because that seems to mean conditioners and lotions and puddings and creams and a bunch of other bottles, plastic bottles, stuff mixed together. And that's not natural. Natural means you have nothing on your hair. So I think what every woman means to say is that I'm not relaxed, because that's huge to go without a relaxer from jump. But if you're accessing conditioner and additional beauty supply products after that, I don't care if you call them salon products or you got them out of a beauty supply store, they're all formulated the same. With the exception of a few ingredients, I get that. But the harsh carcinogenic chemicals are still present. So at any rate, we're doing a huge disservice. So I'm not going to babble too much more. I'm going to go ahead and start the service. The time right now is 1:06. I'm going to have this model done and completed. I'm going to wash her, post-treat her with the MYWater. I'm going to comb her out, blow her out, flat iron her, all within an hour. And so again, it's 1:06 and we're going to start. So,
what kind of hair is it then? What kind of hair is it?
What kind of hair? You have what's called high density. So a lot of women call high density thick. My hair is thick. That's an incorrect descriptive, because thick is the description of the diameter. It's size. Everyone's hairs are the same diameter. It's the number of hairs per square inch which differentiates us from each other. So with you compared to me, you have what's called high density. I have low density. I don't have that many hairs per square inch, so they call that good hair when you have low density. But the diameter of our hairs are all the same. And 4C to me is the type of hairs that are so drawn up that you can't eat. You know, I can get my fingers through your hair, but I've had textures where it's, I mean, all drawn up, super tight, you know, to where a woman doesn't even think her hair is long.
Put that water on there, you'll see.
You about to see how beautiful your hair really is. These products have frustrated us. It's these companies that have just distracted us. They've done an amazing job at making sure we stay dependent on their products, because none of them are addressing the underlying problem, which is this tap water. Everybody is like, just cover it up, just slick it up, oil it up, and cover up the problem, just like a pacifier to a child. And that's not what I call the right directive towards optimal wellness with hair. I don't use the word healthy, because everyone is chopping that word up too. Well, I'm going to give you healthy hair. Okay, but you use conditioner. You're putting alcohol in my hair. You just used an edge control on my hair. That's not healthy practice at all, to me. So come on back. We're going to start the shampoo, which I'm going to talk about because shampoos are important to understand the chemistry in them. What I mean by that is there's a lot of products on the market, just like Lucen's lies, they market on the front by saying it's a beauty and wellness product. Well, it's a beauty product, but wellness, that's that marketing. Because that's going to mislead me to think that, ooh, this is better than the rest. When in fact, if you look on the back, it has everything we're supposed to avoid. It has paraffins in it, has polybens in it, has fluoride in it, sodium, sulfates, 2 of them, mind you. It has everything we're not supposed to use. So I had to learn the hard way that if anything bubbles, it has a chemical in it called hydroxide. Hydroxide is a detergent that strips. So in a chemistry lab, that's not a cleansing action. That's just removing surface dirt or oil. It's just removing oil from the hair. But it's not a cleansing action. So unfortunately, we've been thinking all this time and all these years that just because we get bubbles, because I was told that if you see bubbles, the hair is clean. That's not true. You just strip the hairs with a detergent, and detergents aren't supposed to be on our hair from germs. I'm just gonna shampoo very quickly. I'm gonna work as fast as I can to make this video as short as possible.
And then what kind of shampoo?
So this is the Lucen's, and I use it because I've tried almost everything else, to where I got tired of wasting my money on other stuff that claimed that it was moist and nourishing. And Lucen's just kills it when it comes to softening hair. I believe it's because of their induction of all of the more plant and flower chemicals that they use, that they're getting from somewhere. But it does soften. This is why I offer in my salon a traditional service in addition to the MYWater treatment, because my shampoo alone helps relax the hair texture.
And is it fairly expensive?
The problem with the Lucen's is that they're like me. They're a non-commercial business or company, which means they don't spend any money on trying to convince people to buy it. Yeah. It is what it is. It works. It's good. So it's hard to come by. So Amazon sells it, and you have to basically become a distributor for Lucen's.
You can't just go and get it.
Nope. I mean, locally, I don't know. The only beauty supply store that sold Lucen's was Hunter's. And Miss Sherry went out of business back in 2014. So once she closed Hunter's, nobody else sold it. Pickens Technical College used to sell it in their little cabinet up front. But it wasn't enough for a salon, you know, it was just personal, individual, selling. But I do have a resource, which is curlmart.com, that sells more manufacturers' products than the law allows. I've never seen that many products on one site, including the Lucen's, and they sell the whole line of the Lucen's. Because if you find somebody like Amazon doesn't sell the protein treatment. Amazon doesn't sell the Serious Shine. Don't sell the setting lotion. They'll make you think that Lucen's only has a shampoo and conditioner, and it's more to the line. So Curl Mart has the whole entire line for sale. So I became a distributor when Miss Sherry closed. I was so spoiled with being able to jump in my car on a Saturday morning because I was out of shampoo or something and just go run down there and grab it and come back and start working. When she closed, that resulted in me having to order online, and I hate online ordering. I'm too controlling for it. And I get tired of my order being messed up. Whatever, yeah, it's just always on mine. So I decided to become a distributor. And I tried to open an online beauty supply store back in 2016. Because I had become a distributor and I had access to the full line. That was going to be my exclusive product, like. Because here in Colorado, like I said, we gotta be aware of the effects of what we're using. So that's why it's kind of confusing with Elucence, because even as chemically built up as the product is, they do have a different order of ingredients. All the harsh chemicals are at the bottom in Elucence's formula, where I noticed the other manufacturers, they put their harsh chemicals first. So if you if you consider the ingredient rule, your first ingredient is the most, and then it goes by amount added. So if all your good stuff is at the bottom and all your chemicals are first, like most conditioners start with water and then goes right into alcohol. It's like, dang, you done mixed alcohol with tap water. And that's another thing I had to ask myself. When I'm looking at these labels and it says water as the first ingredient, now that I know there's 6 types of waters, I now be asking the manufacturer, what kind of water did you use? And then instead of just answering my question, they get offended. Well, message me in my inbox. And it's like, for what? Dang, we're just networking. But I found through research that the first ingredient is tap water, faucet water. Whatever state that manufacturer resides in, they're using the public drinking water within that zip code. And that alone is nasty. Not nasty. Is not healthy for our hair. Because of the population numbers, the water's changing. Every time they build a new neighborhood, those are additional toilets getting dumped into the same pipes that have been existing for years. And then they shoot it right back to us, so I could add more chemicals to it. Okay, so I just exfoliated your scalp to help break up any buildup from sweat and sebum that may have been on the scalp. Sweat and sebum are 2 contaminants on hairs that our human bodies excrete. That might sound a little complicated, but it's the truth. Our own sebum, even though it's natural, and our sweat is natural because it's derived from the source, it's not good for our hair. Once it excretes from the bodies and lays on the hair, it's going to harden us and make us coated and covered. Creates a barrier and makes it impossible for anything else to work or penetrate the hair when you have a barrier on it. Okay, so I'm rinsing the shampoo out completely. And again, if you have any questions, just drop them and I'm going to get to them and I'll answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to admit it, because questions make me smarter. I'm always looking for questions and concerns and problems. I'm waiting for someone to tell me that my water did not soften their hair. I'm pulling them in ASAP and we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to get offended and upset and tell them how dare them and they should never address me negatively. No, I'm a professional. So that means sometimes I may get negative feedback, which needs to be addressed and then corrected at some point. Yeah. So the baptismal is getting ready to start. I'm hoping, no, she can't see. I'm going to bring this camera down a little bit to hopefully see the head better. I can't see because the Facebook got the, maybe that's better. I'm trying to get it to make sure you guys can see her head. And I think, can you see her head? I think you can. Okay. So at any rate, I've removed as much of the tap water from her head, because what has happened right now, the cuticle, which is the outer covering layer of the hair shaft, is open. This is why our hair reforms when it gets wet. So while the shaft is open, this is when it's crucial and critical to post-treat this tap water with my water. I do so by beginning at the very front of the hairline, and this is cold. I've got to warn the client. We all have heard the benefits of cold rinses on our scalp and our hairs. Hot water is not the best temperature for us to use. I've tested it, and our hairs do feel better with cooler water. I think we've all been distracted to believe that the hot waters help dissolve, and that's not true. Hot water is harder than cold water. So I'm fully saturating her whole head. The client can feel the water running across her whole scalp, which is also going to dissolve her scalp as well. The scalp is the biggest kind of like challenge with the head because it's covered with so many hairs and it traps our sweat and sebum. So as you can see, I just fully saturated her head, and now I'm kind of saturating the water into hairs by rubbing it, and I'm squishing it into her ends. And everything changes after this point. I call this now, she's been baptized. We just rinsed away all the bad. And I've given your hairs now a new beginning, so everything beyond this point will be better. I don't say that my product is the best. I don't say that your hair is going to be healthy. It's going to be better than what it was. Come on up. So normally in a traditional salon, you would be getting prepped for conditioner right now. And furthermore, you would have been covered with a towel. Yep. I'm very aware of what I'm using in here. So towels are extremely contaminated, not just with cotton, which should not be on our hair, but also all the chemicals that are in the soaps that we access. And if you're properly sanitizing your towels, they should be being bleached. So that chemical is also present on the towels. So to cover specially textured hair and do that, you're just roughing the hairs up. And I call that disrespecting the hairs. Okay. So your hairs have already automatically softened. You can kind of see the difference already. I'm now going to take a wide tooth comb. I'm not even drawing up all the way. No, ma'am, because you're usually way clean, more like tight. Yeah. So that occurs when we're covered. Whenever something, and that's our visual. You know, they always say our bodies tell us when something's wrong. Whenever we see the tightness and the frizz, that means we're covered and we're coated. It doesn't mean you're dry. I tell people all the time, you're not dry until you die, because when you die is the day that your sebaceous gland and your sweat gland stops functioning. Then you're dry. Everyone is calling us covered scalp, a white scalp, dry. No, that's not true. You're covered and you're coated. That means you haven't brushed, you haven't properly exfoliated that area of your scalp, and that's your sweat and your sebum that has dried onto the head. And I tell my girls, brushing our scalp is just like brushing our teeth. It's our daily responsibility to remove surface dirt. I tell people all the time, you could just rinse your mouth out with mouthwash and have after your day. It's going to take care of the problem, which is the bad breath, but you haven't cleansed your teeth, you know, the surface of the enamel, if you don't brush. So I tell girls that brushing our scalp is the same thing. And if your hair or your root gets too thick and you can't get in there with a brush, then you got to get a comb and go through your scalp. But action has to be done every day to ensure. I tell everybody our scalp is like the dirt in a plant. If you allow that surface dirt to get hard, it's going to make it harder for that plant to thrive up out the dirt. Our hairs originate under our skin, not on the top. So if the top is covered and coated, yes, it's going to stun your growth. Absolutely. Because you're making it more difficult for those hairs to pop through the surface. So I've just completely detangled this young lady's hair. Was there any pain associated?
No, which normally I have to section.
And this is all the hair I got out of your head.
And I normally have way more.
I used to grab hairs like this throughout the comb out, and I used to have to start from the ends and comb my way up. The comb out used to take 20 minutes alone just Absolutely. To get a girl combed and sectioned. I don't have to section anymore. No. Again, I have not used anything else. And I tell every client, feel your hair, because this is what you should be feeling when we condition.
It's super soft.
Man, and as a stylist, I've never gotten this after conditioning.
Super soft.
So just like your comb out. So let's recap. After rinsing with my water, you don't need conditioner, because conditioners are going to cover and coat you, which are going to harden your hairs once you dry. We've all seen this for years. I don't use a towel. There's no need to. All you have to do is just continually rub it in until it's no longer dripping. The comb out is crucial. I know what I've put clients through, and I know what I went through as a textured hair woman with the comb out. You saw the lack of hairs that came out. So MYWater is also not just going to provide a pain-free comb out, but it's also going to help us retain more hairs a lot longer than accessing these other, accessing conditioner. Because once we condition, it's going to harden us, and we're going to snatch out so many hairs. As we get older, we're not replacing like we did when we were younger. So that's going to become a visual change. So I'm going to now blow dry you. And again, not adding anything to your hair. And this is why I'm doing this live video, because I tend to take before photos and after photos. Well, if you're like me, I need to see what you done did between that photo. What did her hair look like before you started? I don't know that you didn't use nothing else on her hair to get that finished photo. So I thought today would be ample opportunity and timing to exemplify this whole service, because the only ones that really know what I do are those that come and see about me, which are my clients. Everyone else is assuming and blocking it and not believing it. So I just thought I'd show everybody. So the time right now is 1:20. We started at 1:06, and I'm already to blow drying. I'll have you blow dry fully by 1:30, 5:10. It'll be 1:36 before I get done. And just like I said,
What time is it now?
it's 1:24, so I'll be done by 1:34. So just like the comb out, I've never been able to go in at the scalp on in, even if you was relaxed. Even though even on a relaxed head, I've never been able to just glide through the head like this. I've always had the section. I've always had to fight just to get the blow dry done. This used to always result in the hairs not even being all the way dry because I done gave up, because it then took half a day to do so. It's hard. It's crunchy. It takes forever to dry. So I'm able to just glide through your hair with no problems whatsoever. Not like we've been experiencing all these years. To me, in this industry, time is everything. And if I have anything that can show or prove to me that it's going to help me or make my job easier, I definitely see it. But I'm aggressive like that. I'd be like, what is that? And where you get it from? And how can I get it? And teach me how to use it, please. So it's saved me money in the salon, because I don't buy conditioners like I used to. I hardly ever access conditioner anymore. I had found for conditioners to not be helpful for me if I'm going to blow dry my client. Now, if we weren't going to blow dry and we were going to do a twist out, then I do use conditioner. At that point, the glycol is a controller without accessing an oil, a processed oil. A processed oil is thicker than glycol. Glycol is a liquid. So at that point, we're going to use the conditioner as a controller, because we're acting like we're in humidity when we don't blow dry and flatten. And now I'm at the back of her head, which on every head is usually the thickest and the hardest part to get through. I'm gliding all the way down to even her nape hairs, from the top all the way down. And the time right now, it's only been 3 minutes and I'm already halfway through her head. I mean, in addition to the comb out, the blow dry alone is the other most challenging aspect of the service. Because it takes so long and it's so difficult to do. It takes forever. You comb through a section, it retangles, it stays frizzy. So I've completely gotten through her middle, and now I'm going to work the other side. Come on around. if you notice, I have no smoke in my blowout, which is usually the case in a natural service. When you have smoke in your blowout, that's a visual that you still have oils present on the hair. That means that client needs to go back to the sink and you should maybe do a third shampoo. But to ignore that, or if you know you've added oils prior to the blow dry, you've just further coated the hairs and you've gotten further away from healthy hair. But there's no smoke in the blowout. That's because her hair, and I am getting a little bit of smoke, but I do use a hot dryer also. And sometimes I always say, if the client has accessed oils multiple times, those are called layers of oil. Sometimes you do need to cleanse or clarify more than one at one time before you actually get it all removed. This man here make one aware of the result of putting oils in your hair. It's not, oils do not soften and oils do not moisturize. Oils cover and coat, which is not healthy in this dry climate. It's not going to absorb. So just remember that if you're trying to be healthy, oils don't make the hair healthy. Oils just cover up the problem and take away the visual. So now I'm going to blow dry what's called the inside of her hair. I've done the whole outside, but now her edges need to be done. So now I'm going to go around her whole perimeter and ensure her edge hairs are dry as well. One of the biggest problems of blow drying is not getting all the hairs dry, especially the scalp. Now I've taken the hairs over to the left. Now I'm going to take them forward to make sure that I've dried the nape area of the hair. So look down for me. Now I take the hairs to the left, like I did on the other side, to ensure I've dried all square inches of the head and then to the back. I'm now done blow drying. I got done 3 hours sooner. The time on my clock is 1:31 right now. So I completed a blowout in 10 minutes or less, which is what this water is going to provide for you either at home or in your shop, wherever you're at. So the last step, all my clients know, I have to make sure the surface is dry and not just the hairs. So I can't see that with my own eyes, so I have to ask my client. You got to talk to your clients and say, I need you to let me know if the air I blow into your scalp is warm or cool. Warm means you're dry, cool means you're still wet. Okay. So I'm going to start back here. Is that warm or cool? And what about the back? What's hot? Your front? This side? And this side. That's a crucial step when you're marcelling or flat ironing, because if you're adding heat to moisture, which is water, it's going to automatically create frizz, which is going to give you a poofy flat iron. And I don't care who you are, how quiet you are. Don't nobody like a poofy flat iron. That's not cool. Not cool at all. We have textured hair, so we want our hairs to lay. We don't want big hair. We can just go into some tap water and create that. So we don't want to go pay for no poofy flat irons that you're afraid or that you fail to dry the scalp area with. now I'm gonna lay you down, because I am the flat iron queen. Can't nobody lay down here like I can. I can work a Marcel. I'm aware of my timing inside the stove, as well as my pressure with my tool. So we're only exactly 30 minutes into her service, and I'm already getting ready to flat iron. Are you okay with heat being close to your scalp? Because I do get close. I always say, as long as you freeze and be still, you'll be fine. I will ask you to hold your head in certain areas, like over, or back, or down. And you just make sure you do some. So I'm wondering if anybody has any questions. I didn't see nothing. Ask me anything. Like, you can say, Tanya, I didn't think water did anything. I'd be like, me either.
I will.